You are listening to I Am Refocused Radio with your host, Shamaya Reed. This show is designed to inspire you to live your purpose and regain your focus. And now, here's your host, Shamaya Reed.
Hey, welcome to I Am Refocused Radio. Once again, we are here today, and we have another special guest for y'all. We have today with us Hilda Fainsod. She has an amazing website. You go, her website is HildaFainsod.com. She empowers individuals and organizations to unlock their performance and happiness. She specializes in Mastermind, mental fitness, and coaching. She holds 10 international certifications, validating her experience and expertise in leadership development. Her resume will probably take me 24 minutes to put out there, so I'm going to speed this up a little bit and say today we're going to talk about her book. And her book, you can get it right on Amazon. Is available right now. Is Power Up, the executive roadmap to transforming life and business. So without further ado, I just want to welcome Hilda to the show and say, how you doing?
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here.
I appreciate your time. Happy Friday, first of all, because I know everyone's getting excited and getting ready for the weekend and relax a little bit before we get back on the grind. But kind of start out with your story professionally. How did you get here, and what cued you to make the idea to write your book, Power Up?
Yeah, I got here because I decided 20 years ago that I was able to create a different kind of impact. I used to be a trainer, and I train in core skills, and that was fine at my beginning. But after that, I learned about coaching, and my question was why I train in coaching and I'm not a coach. So I decided to go into the different kind of certifications and create a deeper, meaningful impact in others. So that's why I got here. And I had a book in my mind for years. And all the time it was like, it's not the moment. I don't know how to write. I'm so busy. I keep my work loaded. So I don't have time for it. I will love it, but don't have time for it. So COVID came, and I do have plenty of time because my clients began like, I don't know how to deal with that. So I need to stop for a moment the project, and I will find out how to operate my business and come back later. So I had plenty of time and decided to write a book in Spanish because I'm Mexican. And I wrote Buen Camino. Buen Camino is good journey in English. And I love the book because it has 7 steps to grow to a different level. And that was a great experience. It was so good to have a book in the head and to sit for 7 weeks all day to write a book and to enjoy it. And after that, I published on Amazon too, and that book became also an audiobook. And 2 years later, because I'm a challenging person, I decided to raise the bar. And why not to write a book in English? So I wrote Power Up, and it was a totally different experience in a different language. I didn't have the book in the head. I didn't know what to write, and I want to write something that creates impact and allow people to be aware and to change in life and business. So I decided to write about something that is a pain point for everyone, that is how to deal with change and how to really change. And that kind of change that is meaningful and transform lives. And suddenly we want something really bad and we stop doing. I want to be fit and I stop eating healthy, and I want to be organized and I do a mess with my priorities, and I want to, but stop. Because life gets in the way. So I decided that was an amazing topic where I have had personal experiences and my clients' experiences, and a lot of reading and learning and enjoying what kind of solutions can I bring to people. So that's right why I wrote Power Up.
And with the book, you address unrealistic expectations. And when it comes to executive leadership, how does the book kind of highlight that and address it?
Yeah, I had this morning a coaching session with a client, and he said he's in the middle of creating something, and it is a joyful, struggling, difficult experience, as every time we want to change. And I said, my client, tell me some lessons. And he said, it is more difficult than what I had in my head before. And that change is not an immediate change, an immediate response. It's not a shortcut or a quick fix or this kind of formula that I can do so fast and that will transform me. No, it's not. But we believe that because I have today the motivation, I will keep going. And I don't. So we need to be clear that change implies a lot. And change needs to deal with our own inertia. We have these habits every day in our life. We live in this kind of automatic pilot 85% of our time. We do things because we know how to do them. And when we want to change, we stop because of that. Because we have a pattern and a way to do it and a habit and that kind of routine that stops and I want this and I'm doing that. So the first thing that I did was writing to be aware of what it takes. And also asking if you want to pay the price. Because the price is going to be high. But the reward is going to be worth it. So do you want to play the game or not?
And when people look at opportunities to have a growing mindset, your book also talks about when it comes to contributing and having results, you have to have some of those internal factors that come to play. So when it comes to beyond accountability, what's some things the book highlight as far as contributing to those results?
Yeah, I ask people in some polls, what gets in the way when you want to change? And guess what gets? It's me. And my thoughts and my patterns and my saboteurs and all this inner voice that doesn't allow me to move and flow the way I want it or the way I supposed is going to be. So we need to understand that we have in our mind this survival brain that will stop us from big changes. So when we define big goals, big goals, and I can see the face of my client saying, gosh, this is an amazing possibility and I can do and I can create this product or service or business or whatever. And suddenly this happiness vanished and they began like, oh, that's so big. Am I going to be prepared? Gosh, this is difficult. And I say, stop for a moment. You need to stop that because you aware your brain that this is big. Yeah. And this survival brain will stop you and will create those doubts. Really, Shemaya? Are you kidding me? Why do you need to do that? You are just fine. You are doing great. Don't move it. It's not broke. Why do you want to break it? So we have this inner voice, and we need to stop, because the thing is not getting smaller. The thing is how to grow capabilities.
Yes.
And big goals can be chunked into pieces. And that is a secret, a great secret. You chunk it into pieces and you don't eat the whole meat together. It's piece by piece, tiny activities, tiny actions that can make sustainable a big change, but is in pieces. I do have an experience. I walk in Spain, this famous road that calls El Camino de Santiago. And it is a great experience. I did 130 kilometers in 6 days into the woods. It was amazing. The best, maybe, self-coaching week of my life, because you get aware of a lot of stuff. And I was so happy to do that. It was a dream in my life. I planned it 10 months ago, and I decided to be there. It's so joyful. And the third day, I woke up, and I feel this anxiety that is so familiar to me. And I was like, really? You are in one of your dreams and you are on vacations, and usually you said you don't stress out when you are on vacation, so what's going on with you? And my first thought was, okay, it's because I need to walk 80 kilometers. And I said, really? 80 is in the next 4 days, not now. How many kilometers are now? And the answer that I gave, it was 21. Okay, can I walk 21? Sure I can, because I walked yesterday 23. So I can do that. And 80 is the total amount that I need to cover in the next few days, not now. Can I, and my question, can I do the 21 kilometers today? Like, it's a half marathon. Can I do with joy and forget about the other kilometers that I need to cover the other days? And my answer was yes. Immediately, the stress went out of my body, and I was so happy and enjoy. But this is a game in my mind. Is the whole picture, and can you do that? Of course, the answer is no. So we need to cut into pieces and begin piece by piece, day by day, action by action.
Once again, you're listening to Refocus Radio and watching us online. We're talking to our guest today, Hilda Fainsod, and all about her book, Power Up, the Executive Roadmap to Transforming Life and Business. I like what you said about the inner voice and also the self-doubt that always comes. I mean, anybody who's busy doing something, they're always going to have an opportunity to overanalyze things and worry about something that hasn't even happened yet. And it's always sometimes either thinking too much in the future of what we can't control, or sometimes reminiscing on the past that is already too late. But we always hear on the show the power of the moment, being locked into the present time. And when you look at your book, your book also gives us specific tools and strategies for anchoring lasting change. For the audience, kind of touch on that, because it's one thing to have change, but to have that lasting change, that kind of change, I said that 3 times, that changes the whole game, because when it's able to last, then now you have something that you can really, truly work with.
Yeah, I listened to you, and in the book I have a stat of Harvard University, and it's so interesting and allows us to understand what happened in our brain. We have this 40% of our time that we are awake, 47% that our mind wanders. goes in different places, and you describe it perfectly. To the past, to the future, to the present, to what's happening, not happening, never will happen, all the time. And we think in different levels. That's why we are in a meeting and thinking about other stuff and the groceries and the conversation and the email that I didn't send, because our mind has a lot of stimulus that will put everything out of place. So the thing to bring us back is one conscious breathing. One. You don't need a lot to bring yourself and to give purpose of what you are doing in this particular moment, and to be here, no there, no behind, here, to do stuff. And that can allow us to refocus, as Refocus Radio, refocus and rethink and see possibilities and take actions. Because if we don't put a practice into place, it's not going to happen anything. We have too much here. So it needs to have a practice that you can repeat. And my clients ask, how much? How many? And I said, as many as it takes.
Yeah.
How many? I don't know. To be a fit person, it took me a whole year of resistance and inner battle. But now, gosh, it's one of my best habits in life. But it took 1 year to be so uncomfortable with myself. And I keep until it became a lifestyle. And that is transformation.
And speaking of the lifestyle, it's something that you have to not just teach yourself to do, but it's something that you have to stay committed to, because it's not like you wake up one day and like a flip of the switch is just locked in and you're on the game. It takes a little bit of time in the beginner's world to kind of get that consistency going. So in your book, my next question it'll be is what is the roadmap that you present in the book, and how is that structured for the reader?
Yeah, I do love to think about the first step, because the first step in the breakthrough model that I propose is to be aware of who do you want to become. Yeah. And that is so a deep, meaningful question. And it's a matter of design, Shemaya. What do you want to design for yourself in the future? And that question needs to be with you. When you have 20s, but more in your 30s and more in your 40s and different in your 50s, 60s and more. Because in every season in life, we need differently. We want another stuff. And we grow in impact. I didn't question myself about the books when I was in my 30s. I did in my 50s. So the first step is, who do you want to become? What do you want your future self will be? And after that, okay, creating that kind of identity is to find out what are the steps, the plan, the process, the practice. And keep going every day and adjust all those practices until you find that is okay and it's working, and it takes a lot of time, because the start of change goes like a straight line for a lot of time, and suddenly it grows. But it takes a lot to raise the bar. And in this slowliness that we forget and don't want and skip and throw all the efforts because it takes a lot. So don't think in 21 days, as there are theories out there, you will have the habit. No, 21 days allow you to begin. But if you are not committed to change yourself, the day 22, you are going to eat a cake, no matter how on a diet you were. So it's going, reminding yourself who do you want to become until you sustain and it becomes a transformation. And that's why I wake up every morning from Monday to Saturday, every morning without no question. I go to the gym. Every morning at 6 o'clock, I wake up with the same purpose. Keep myself healthy.
Once again, listen on Refocus Radio and watching us online. Talking to our guest today, Hilda. Go to her website. It's real simple, Hilda Fainsod. And also pick up her book, Power Up, The Executive Roadmap to Transforming Life and Business. Two things I want to hit on that you said moments ago, and that's it takes time and practice. Because those are the two things you must put into play once you identify what it is that you are aware of that you want to become in the future. And I love what you said about like the different stages of a person's growth in their 20s, their 30s, their 40s and 50s, because a lot of times we think that people identify as goals as something that's it. That's all they need. But it takes a little bit more than goals. Once you identify what it is you want to become, now you have to identify what are the systems that you have to start building to reach those goals. So I know your book touches on that for executives with some things that our audience can take away from that point.
Yeah, you said the word is a system. It's not, okay, what I'm going to do today. No, it's a system. Finding what do you want. And this is identity. It's what are the practices. And the practices are actions that I take every day. So that is a process. It's a system. And not, okay, let's see, what do I want to do today? No, you need to keep going consistently with the same practice that you define. It will take you to the place you want to be. So it's a matter of going. And the best I can say for others, talking about the expectations, that was your first question, is don't expect it's going to flow and be easy and you will enjoy the journey. No, the journey is at the beginning quite difficult and uncomfortable because the comfort zone is not anymore there. Because you don't want that, but you are not there in this moment. So you need to walk until you will get to that place. So it's very uncomfortable and it's frustrating. And sometimes you are like, okay, I did a diet the whole week and nothing happens. So I'm so give up of this that I will go whatever is in my pantry. So I go to there. So keep going. It feels uncomfortable, very much. And we need to move. If we are committed with transformation and we want to pay the price is this. To remove
oh, sorry, my bad. I was going to say, I want to touch on something that you said about comfort zone. And when you were talking about that, it kind of makes me think that there are different types of frustrations. There's frustration when you're actually on the field of life, making it happen, doing what you got to do. But then there's also a frustration when you are too comfortable, because when you're too cozy, life seems to knock on the door and say, hey, it's time for you to move, because you've been nice and chill for a long time and you're kind of been idle. You haven't actually made any progress. And I feel like there's two different types of frustrations. One is when you're actually in the field trying to make things happen. And then the other side of frustration, or type of frustration, is when you're too comfortable and you become plateau and you're not actually making progress. You're just making excuses to remain the same.
Yeah, and sometimes we don't realize we are comfortable and this is okay, and I don't move and I don't get it. We don't realize that. And sometimes life pushes us to move. And you don't want that. Better to create a change than to feel that you are struggling a lot and you need an emergency action because it was too much that you don't do things differently. And suddenly the market and the economy and the competition and whatever, they move faster than you. So you need better, you define what do you want to achieve. And that question also needs to be often with you.
Yeah.
Is that right? I'm getting what I want? Is this the kind of life and business I want? I do perform okay, and I do feel this happiness and joy? Because I do have clients that they perform more than okay, but they are so stressed out. And there's a lot of burnout and lack of balance, and those claims of the family, when are you going to be here? So better to define what do you want in life.
Yeah.
And how fulfilled are you?
It's almost like when you're choosing what you're wanting to buy, right? At a store, for example. If you don't know what you want, you can spend too much time just looking.
Oh, yeah.
And I feel like that could be a scenario with life itself. If you don't actually be specific in what it is you actually want to achieve, or just at least set something out there, then you're kind of lost in the ocean. The wind will blow your sail in any direction because you're not the one adjusting the sail. And that will really put you in deep frustration, because you will waste so many years of just wondering versus being strategic. And part of creating systems and strategy is you either need a person to look up to, a mentor, or someone to be help you stay accountable on your vision, or you just need to really invest in yourself. Because if you do not invest in yourself, no one's going to waste their time to even look at your direction. And people usually turn their head as you start making progress. It's not the other way around. They're not looking at you when you're in the trenches and you're under construction mode. It's usually after you start making that progress and you start getting those new opportunities and those new doors. Because I had someone said not too long ago that the great performance is due to great preparation. And without that preparedness, you will lose that moment of time when it's time for you to emphasize what you learned or what you've been doing behind the scenes. So if you want to look at how you are transforming, you also have to look in the mirror and say, what do I look like? And what do I not like about it? And what can I change to transform into the person that I really, truly believe I can be?
Yeah. And you said something very important, and I can say that my best achievement moments are when I have a coach, a mentor, or an accountability partner. And I use a lot of those resources to allow myself to grow and to see what I'm not seeing right, and allow myself to have more goals and possibilities, and to have a thinking space and a thinking partner there, and to commit with others. And that way I solve a lot of things, and I have a space with somebody to write, and we write our own book, but we are together, connected, and that way we are co-responsible of the other person's success. So invest in yourself is not only a matter of money. It's a matter of time and commitment, and to have with whom to think and to grow. Yeah. And that is quite important to support our journey, because if not, and we are going to be weak in some moments and we are going to throw the towel, better to have somebody there that allow us to bring again this energy and possibilities to solve what is in the way and to allow you to complete.
And you said a key word, weak. We can have a whole nother show on the topic of weakness, because a person can start out weak in whatever they start in their profession or life in general, but they choose to remain weak or to grow. And I think the more you choose to grow, then the less comfortable you will be, because growth is never comfortable. It's always challenging, and it always shows the rough areas that is like, oof, all right, I got a lot of work to do. But if you're honest with yourself, then there's no limit to how much you can grow, because once you become serious about what you're trying to do, you start to listen to those who are trying to pull you up, but not doing your work, but trying to give you opportunity to say, hey, pay attention. I just said this yesterday on the show, and that is, we have this moment of time, and you will never have the same moment ever again. Once it passes, you can't get a time machine and try to do it again. So it's like, whatever you are doing in this life, this is your moment. And if you don't take action now to even try, then that season's gone. And you're going to look back and say, wow, I wish I would have did this, or I could have done that. And I think that ties to your whole book that people, on Amazon, Power Up, the executive roadmap to transform your life and business, because transformation means that you're going from one point into something totally different. So when time passes, you should not look the same. You should look like someone who actually transformed into something greater versus what you used to be. And a lot of times we are never becoming greater. It's because the old saying, we're looking in the rearview mirror every 10 seconds. And every time we take our eyes away from the windshield, every time we shift our eyes, every time we look, that's the moment we lost the opportunity. So imagine if you spend your whole life looking in the rear view mirror, missing all the big moments, because we look at big moments sometimes as too much work, when all it is planting the seed. And if you water that seed and you stay consistent, it will grow into something big. A lot of times we try to rush it, or we quit too soon because we don't realize the roots are going deep and we don't see nothing coming up from the surface, so we quit. If we don't quit, then that transformation actually will take place.
Oh yeah, and you said something that reminds me that there is no a perfect moment, but you can create it. There's no that okay, this is the perfect moment. I'm ready for it. I'm prepared. I have the skills. I have the money. I have the time. I have no. There's no. And sometimes you need to move with no information. So there's power also in not knowing. And the power is in not wait until you know everything, because you are not going to know everything that you need. Is only to be ready for the next move. Only that. And maybe the next move is a conversation with somebody that knows about that you don't know, only to explore what's the road and how is and what was their experience. So maybe it's another conversation. And you only need to be ready for that, not for the whole thing, because you are not going to figure it out in a moment.
Well, once again, you've been listening to I'm Refocused Radio and watching us online, talking to our guest today, Hilda Fainsod. You can go to her website, it's hildafainsod.com, and get her copy of her book, Power Up, the Executive Roadmap to Transforming Life and Business. I know we had to keep this going, but it's about that time. I want to say to our guest today, Hilda, like always, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. I enjoyed the conversation. And of course, I can keep going.